Hello, lovely lady, and welcome to another episode of Success Starts Within. I'm coming to you from a very calm, regulated state. If you've been following me, you will see that last week and the week before, I was standing on two really big stages. One of them being online and the other one in a room of 100 women, which I've never done before. And I'm going to be honest, I let the whole situation control my life. For 3 weeks, it's what I thought about, it's what I focused on, and it was absolutely crazy. So to come at this now, today, not having that over my shoulders is very nice. But oh my God, did I learn so much. Not just about about the process, sorry, but just a lot about me and the way that I work. I've realized that I am very much the type of person that goes into complete avoidance when she's overwhelmed and stressed. So I left everything to the last minute. I was in John Lewis the night before with my daughter trying to find an outfit. I decided that I wanted to get my hair coloured, so I messaged my friend and said, "Can you come and do my hair now for me?" And she had to literally just come, stick a colour on and then leave. And I left quite a lot of things to the last minute. But it was amazing, and I've met some incredible women. I have had some discovery calls. I've got people in my DMs, and I just love it because women have watched my talk and realised that there is so much more to them, and that actually it's just a case of doing the work, going through the main character method, and they can come out the other side and feel fucking awesome. So yay to that. But today I'm going to be talking about something that has come up in the last week, I would say about 3-4 times. And I've had, as I said, I've had a couple of discovery calls, and this came up with them as well. So I thought, this is going to be a very interesting topic I would love to talk about. So I don't know about you, and I know that I did this, which is why it kind of hits home for me too. I don't know whether a lot of you are in this situation where you are starting to change your messaging a bit, or repositioning yourself 2 or 3 times, or looking at your messaging, you're changing it again, and nothing is quite sticking. Nothing is really, you've got to the point where you don't really know who you are and who you help because you've changed yourself so many times. And this tweaking is actually a subconscious strategy to make us look productive. And we think that we're working, which we are. We're tweaking, we're changing, we're doing all the things. We're sat at our computer, which is where we should be. We're on our phone, we're creating content. So it actually looks like we're growing, but what we're doing is we are avoiding, and we're dressing that up as a strategy. If you can hear that noise outside, there's a bloody annoying forklift truck going back and forth down my road delivering fence panels. So please ignore that. And I don't edit these because I ain't got time. So yes, this is avoidance dressed up as strategy. So we really think we're doing all the things, we're working really hard, and all we're really doing is just playing around with our messaging. And what happens when we do that is that we get so confused and we start to feel really exposed because we're doing all the things, we're putting the content out there, but no one's really getting back to us. No one's really responding, no one's inquiring, and no one's buying. So it can be so frustrating in your business if this is what is happening to you. So if you are somebody that is constantly tweaking and refining, second guessing themselves, then I'm going to go deep in this episode today, and I'm going to talk about 5 subconscious reasons why you're not letting your message stick and what to do about each of them. Because your message, I'm pretty sure, and your strategy, I'm pretty sure, is fucking perfect. But what is happening is that when it gets to the point to either be visible, to sell, to booking calls, to do sales calls, to cold call clients, whatever you do, that's when the thought starts to come into your mind and you think, maybe that's not the right ideal client. Maybe I need to reposition myself. So you stop selling and you start doing, and you feel productive, but it doesn't bring the money in. So one subconscious reason why you're not letting your message stick could be that you don't actually believe in that main character version of yourself yet, that future version of you. Obviously, I call her the main character. So there's this gap between what you're claiming now and what you believe you're allowed to claim, okay? And what's happening here is that you're softening your message, you're diluting it, you're changing it. But all that's happening is that your identity just hasn't caught up with your vision. So the main character, she knows her messaging. She knows who she supports. She gets out there and she's selling. But where you are right now is that you're not comfortable and you haven't gone through the process to become your main character. So therefore you're getting in your own way. Your subconscious is creating these blocks and these barriers to stop you from actually getting there. So it starts to create these stories in your mind. So what I would say is, stop yourself really in your tracks and just sort of think to yourself, like, at the moment you're saying, is this the right message? Well, no, it's not the right message, which is why you're tweaking. So I would just instead ask yourself, who do I need to become to hold this message without shrinking? So who do I need to be to absolutely own the message that I'm putting out there, to own the business owner who is supporting this particular ideal client? Who do I need to be? And what does she do? How does she manage that? And then from there, start acting from her. Now, of course, you're not going to feel ready. Of course, you're not going to feel ready because you're not her yet. But the more that you start to take these actions that your future self will do, your main character is doing, you will very quickly catch up with her. And that gap that I spoke about will close. So the second subconscious story, it may be that you're trying to be accepted rather than of being seen. So when your message is too safe, it's usually because it's been edited through the lens of, like, will people like me? Will this offend anyone? Is this too much? So what you do, again, you start to become palatable. You become beige. You water that messaging down so that you don't really get seen at all. And what's happening there is that you're prioritizing approval from other people over the truth, over what you know is actually, the truth and what is going to support people. So it's that prioritizing over the certainty of what you know is going to help people to move forward, help the clients to move forward in their life. So when you're doing your messaging, I want you to let your message exclude other people. Because when the moment your message becomes specific, when it becomes bold and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, that's when you'll start attracting the right people. Because rather than playing very small, keeping it beige and it not really attracting anybody, you actually stepping out of that comfort zone and saying something that is beyond what you feel comfortable with saying, that's when it's going to start hitting the people. That's when it's going to start attracting the people that you need to be in your world and the people that potentially could be your clients and the ones that pay you. So the third subconscious story. You don't trust yourself to stick with one direction. So it's all about this self-trust. And I'm really feeling a lot of that as I'm talking to these women over the last week or so. And, and I'm going to be honest, when I was doing my talk, obviously I was very nervous. And when I did a bit of nervous system work, I was sort of in this meditation one day. And the thing that came up to me was, I don't trust myself. And I thought, fuck, I don't trust myself, which is ridiculous because I wrote my talk. The talk didn't come out of ChatGPT. It came out of my brain. So I know what I'm saying. So why don't I trust myself to go and stand on that stage and say it? Obviously, eyes on you have that big impact. But I just realized that I really have lost this self-trust. And it's exactly what I'm seeing in other women too. They're not trusting themselves, which is why you question things. You compare to other people and then you think, oh shit, I need to pivot. I'm going to go and do something different. And then the cycle repeats. You keep doing that. And not because it's wrong, right? It's just because you don't trust your own leadership. So what you're doing is that you're outsourcing your authority to other people. So I want you to make this decision. I want you to decide that this messaging and this position that you're in right now is one that you are going to stick with for the next 90 days. No tweaking, no pivoting, no overthinking. Literally stick with it for 90 days because you're not going to get this, mastery doesn't come from constant change. It just comes from repetition. Repetition, depth, slightly tweaking, but only tweaking within that message, if that makes sense. But just constantly getting out there. And the thing is, if you keep changing yourself and your message, then it's going to be confusing for other people because they're not going to know who you support, what you do, and how to work with you and how you can help them. So they're not even going to, they ain't going to slide in your DMs. They're not going to want to follow you, They need consistency and they need to know exactly what you do. They need that repetition. And the fourth one, you may be avoiding visibility at a deeper level. So let's be honest here, ladies. When your message is unclear, you kind of have this little built-in excuse that says, well, I'm just figuring things out. I'm just trying to work out what my angle is. Because when it is clear, when your messaging is 100% clear and you know who you are and what you stand for and who you support, it then means that you've got to be seen. You've then got to start selling and you've got to have that attention on you. And so if you're not comfortable with that, your subconscious is going to keep you safe and it's going to continue to do this beige messaging. So call it out. Like literally say, if I fully owned my message, what would it require of me? And just see what comes up when you ask yourself that question. And again, start meeting that version of you in just small, consistent ways. So when you're doing identity work or any kind of inner work, it is not for you to be taking these huge fucking leaps into like the unknown, because what's going to happen? Your nervous system is going to freak out and it's going to pull you back to where you were. Then you're going to tell yourself, I tried and it didn't work. I'm a failure, so I'm not going to bother again. But that's not how it is. You tried to make the leap too far. It's all about very small, consistent steps so that your nervous system feels safe with the change. Your subconscious is learning a different way of being, and your identity is changing into this main character, the person that you want to be. And then lastly, number 5, you don't fully believe that people will pay you yet. I'm going to repeat that. You don't fully believe that people are going to pay you yet. So if your message is really reflecting the value you bring, it would feel bigger. It would feel more direct. Again, the eyes would be on you. So instead, you water it down so it feels reasonable. It feels reasonable. And what's really happening is that you are calibrating your message to match your current self-worth. Okay? You are calibrating your message to match your current self-worth. And that's really important. I want you to write this down. So you have got to think about your messaging and what is it? How is it coming across? And look into yourself. Do you feel worthy? Is there a match or is there a mismatch? And I can guarantee right now there is a mismatch, because if you felt self-worth, you would be bang into your message and you'll be like, this is who I am, this is who I support, this is what I do, this is how much you pay me, and this is what I'm worth, basically. So I want you to just really think about that. And a shift is right okay, do this. This is quite a good idea. Write your message from the main character version of you who already gets paid well. So who is already in demand and she is already knows that she's valuable. So write your message from her. And when I say write your message, I talk about your repositioning and your message to your clients. What does your main character, how does your main character talk about herself, her services, the value she gives, the transformations that she gives? How does she talk about that? And then I want you to do your messaging from there. And then just notice what changes. Because the version of you, this main character, she does not over-explain, she just claims. And when she claims, the growth will start to happen. And again, that gap between where you are now and who you want to be, the main character, it gets smaller and smaller. So your messaging, okay, it doesn't need to be redone again. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's good enough as it is. It's just that you need to stand certain in it. And just think about this. The women who are fully booked, the women who are visible and making money, they are not constantly reinventing themselves. They're not constantly changing their message. They're deciding who they are, and they have decided what they stand for, and they are courageously repeating it louder and louder. So if you take anything from this episode, ladies, let it be this, please, that your power is not in refining your message at all. It's just in becoming the woman who no longer feels she needs to. And when you come from that place, you no longer need to tweak your messaging because you realize that your messaging is good enough. All right, my lovelies, I have loved chatting to you about this today, and I really hope that it's resonated with some of you. Hearing it all the time. Your message is enough, okay? You don't need to reposition. 90 days. Stick with it for 90 days and just see what happens. And this is something that I support within the main character shift, because I know that the tweaking is just a subconscious story. It's something that is stopping you and holding you back. So I go through a process to completely clear that. And that is when we start to see results. The clients start to see more clients. They start to have more money. They start to sell courses, sell programs, because they've stopped trying to be wishy-washy with their message and they've stood firm in what they truly believe. So thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you later, my love. Bye.